Because if there's one thing you can't change, it's people. You know, it's like my grandfather said, live not by way of expectations. You have to be able to live with or without. And that goes with people. Accept it. He was talking about acceptance. And don't live by way of expectation. Images in your mind. You put this screen in front of you of how you think people are or you hope them to be. But sooner or later, you're going to have to get rid of these images and see people exactly for who they are. And once you see people for exactly who they are, you see them clearly. And when clarity hits you, clarity has an intelligence of its own and a wisdom of its own and a strength of its own. And clarity is going to say, let it go. That was a statement that my grandfather had told me one day. I'm going to repeat it again. Live not by way of expectations. You have to be able to live with or without. The Buddha had said, attachments bring about pain and suffering. So they're both talking about dependency, which is never a good thing. It's never a good thing to depend upon other human beings for your state of contentment, as well as materialistic things that you're only going to have in your life on a temporary basis because everything breaks down. You gain things, you lose things. So what this is talking about is the flaw of accumulating attachments. And when we're born into this Western civilization, which is mainly based upon capitalism, consumerism, areas of accumulating things, whether it's people or materialistic things. We live inside of a culture that is, you might as well say, equivalent to a person who is a glutton, a person who just wants to consume everything. And so you're living in a society to where everyone, even though they work within a system, everyone is strictly out just for themselves. And so we live in a world that is supposed to be a humanitarian quest for one another, as it was before Rome had came and took over. And when Rome had imposed their system on us, which was based upon the same system that Egypt had cultivated when they wanted to build their pyramids and their whole lifestyle and everything. See, what a lot of people don't understand is that we're living within those same systems. And the only thing that is, in fact, um, based upon what is called today moderation is only technology and everything that you look around and you observe cars, homes, even the social media forms of communication, how these cell phones have become um, something that a whole lot of people feel as though they can't live without their cell phones. I mean, This system has created so many addictions, dependencies, that it has become life or death in order to not only obtain these things, but to maintain these things. This is one of the reasons why the Buddha said attachments bring about pain. It was one morning I got off work, and as I was driving, I noticed how beautiful the sunrise was. This was around 6:15 in the morning. Now the sunrise was so beautiful, I had to pull over at this Walgreens I was at. I just lived right down the street from this Walgreens. I got out and observed this what is called a sunrise. And we all know that the sun doesn't move, but But what I noticed is how very beautiful the morning sky was. And I was looking into the heavens, what they call the heavens, the sky. And the sky was like, of course, the blue, the atmosphere, beautiful morning clouds, yellow, orange, blue. It was breathtaking. I took out my cell phone. I was going to take a picture of it. And I felt the Creator said, no, just observe it. You can't take this with you. And this is the reason why this is so important for you to be still and observe. I just want you to just be still and observe it. Because even if you take a picture of this, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same from what is. So each day when we observe this type of beauty, taking a picture of it, you're cheating yourself. Because even if you take a picture of it, it means that your attention is not on it. We're not supposed to consume things like this with our cameras. We're supposed to stand and observe and take in here into our internal selves, because what we're observing is a part of who and what we are, actually. Observe it until it passes on. Don't try to take it with you, because you can't take it with you by way of technology. You take it with you by internalizing it, the feeling. The view becomes a perception and a feeling that you consume when you look at it and you just take a deep breath and you say, wow, this is beautiful. And you just be still and you take it in. That's equivalent. Well, of course, it's not as sacred as taking the moment in. You can't capture a moment, but you can consume, take in the moment. And even with the beauty of that, you still can't attach yourself to that by way of the camera. Because everything passes. Each day that passes, there's a lesson in that. So the Creator is putting something in front of you that you've never seen before. You will never see another sunrise like this one. This is the reason why you shouldn't. take it in, not with your camera, but with your very being. Take in the entire moment and take the moment with you. This is something deeper. You can't take a picture of this. It's not going to be the same. You can't capture that. You capture it with your internal being. And the beauty of this is that you will never see this day again. You will never see this day. So don't attach yourself to it. So each day that goes by, the lesson is observe, take in, and when the day passes, the lesson is be able to let it go so that the next day can present itself and has its own lesson of beauty and bliss. Because each day is different. Because each day is sacred. Each day has its moments of beauty and your personal relationship with yourself. Because, as I said before, what you're observing is actually you. Take in those moments. Put down the cell phones and just be still and just observe it. See, because the cell phone, trying to take a picture of it, that's a form of attachment. You're trying to take this moment with you. You can't take the moment with you by way of your cameras. We have to get back to observing the Creator's beauty. Take it in ourselves. See what it is. By way of the rise of technology, our sense of humanity is decreasing. And we're becoming less human, and we're becoming more humanoids because we have become so attached to technology to where we don't stand still anymore and just observe the scenes. Just observe. We want to capture everything. Greed, possession, attachments, all of those things. Just take in the moment. Just take in the moment. Because you're going to take something with you that means much more than a mere picture. Because even if you try to take pictures, if you even take that picture and even compare that by way of technology to what is, it's not going to be the same. Because there is no better artist than God. No better artist than God. You're going to always get more from God than what man can give you by way of technology. We have to get back to observing things and not trying to consume everything with our camera. Oh, look at this, look at this. This was a beautiful morning. That's not what you consume. Your camera consumed that. But when you put the camera down and you let go of those things and you just be still and you have that moment with God and God is showing you, look at this. I just want you to be still and look at this. Forget about your troubles. Just give me this little moment with you. I want to show you something. I want to show you yourself. I want you to be still just for a moment. And look at the glory of what I've created, because what you're looking at is you. Put down your cell phones one day. You should try that. The next time you see something natural, that is absolutely beautiful. And your mind says, take a picture of it. Don't take a picture of it. Just observe it. And get back in touch with nature, because what you're observing and what you're feeling, the beauty of all of that, it's you. The sun, the clouds, even the soft winds that you feel. Get back in touch with your humanity. Don't take a picture of anything. Just be still. And take it in, the being. Because you're adding to yourself. You want some medicine? Just be still and observe nature. As I tell a whole lot of people who have lost, they say they lost their loved ones. Only their organism has stopped functioning. They've gone back to everything that bears life and power. Know that you have not lost any loved ones. You have to get to know them on a spiritual basis now. Their organism, this organism, has ceased to function. And they've gone back to being the sun, the wind, the rain. You want to spend time with them? Just get up in the morning and watch the sunrise. Just observe the clouds and feel the wind. That's where they are. You haven't lost them. You gained them on a whole nother level. It's only the death of the organism. It's not the death of them. Attachments bring about pain. This is the reason why I see a lot of people go to cemeteries and they sit at the remains of their loved one, the remains. And I see people talking to grave sites. And as much as this may upset some of you, the only reason why this is going on is because, in spite of how many of us claim or say or even believe or feel that they know that their loved one is in a better place, if you really know that, if you really believe that, understand that when you go to the cemetery and you call yourself spending time with your loved ones, that's only their remains. And you look down at a tombstone and their name is on there, but that's not them. That's not them. That's equivalent to a butterfly leaving its cocoon behind, but it's free and is able to go wherever it pleases. They have returned back to everything that bears life and power. And they want you to understand that they are okay. The attachments implies being attached to their organism. This is the reason why we go to cemeteries and we're talking to tombstones. It's not them. It's not them. And we have to understand the different areas of attachments. Another example, when the Egyptians passed away, they thought that when they cross over to the next plane, they would be able to bring their personal possessions with them. This is the reason why when they were buried in those tombs that y'all call the pyramids, those are just tombs, which are equivalent to tombstones over here. And a lot of people think that when they go into the pyramids, that there's some secret knowledge about, mystical things. But those are simply stories about the people who were buried there, who are buried there. That's it. Some of their writings and philosophies and stuff, the same thing. You look down at a tombstone, you use somebody's name, loving father, uncle, or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing. But they have risen to another level of existence. There is no death. There's only a transition to another state of being. That's all it is. And this is coming from a man who died for close to 8 minutes in a motorcycle accident in 2014, February the 10th. You haven't lost anyone. And so the Egyptians thought that when they passed over, all of their possessions was going to be with them. However, they found out otherwise. And somebody else took all of their possessions. Who do you think Indiana Jones is based upon? They call themselves archaeologists, but they're nothing but grave robbers. That's all they are. But the whole thing is, attachments bring about pain. And this goes much deeper than you realize. In 1996, I was sitting up talking to some professors at UNLV, and they had brought up the fact that this federal government is slowly trying to get the land back, certain areas, so that they can start building upon it because they're running out of room. And so one of the areas that they're focusing on for a long time are cemeteries. And so what they're slowly doing is shutting down cemeteries. And this is the reason why you see a lot of cemeteries that look as though they are unattended. And if you go in those cemeteries, you look at the dates are far back. And if you pay close attention, they are raising the prices of funerals and lowering the prices of cremations. They're raising the prices of funerals beyond $10,000 and to $12,000. They're putting common funerals out of the financial reach of common people. And they're encouraging cremations by lowering the price of cremations from what used to be $1,000 now $500. Now people may say, well, what about Tombstone? Well, they've created websites. They've already got us attached to the internet. So what they're doing is they're creating websites to where if you want to spend time or pay your respects to your loved one, we have a link for you now to where you can go online, and as you sat in the cemetery talking to stones, now you'll be online. I miss you, Mom. Stuff like that. The rise of technology. So your loved ones are going to have websites now that you will have free access to visit. As you visit the cemetery, you're going to be able to upload their pictures and all of these things. And the reason why this is not transpiring as far as the federal government getting back that land is because they have to do it gradually and very slowly so that the general public won't be shocked and outraged. So they have to do it very slowly. And who is more able to wait it out than these rich politicians? So this is the reason why funerals are so expensive right now, and cremations are very much low. You're able to afford cremations for now for a reason, because they want that land back. And as I said, they already have us attached to the internet, attached to websites. So this is the type of world that you're living in. Now people may say, well, this is what's wrong with that? You decide. I'm just giving you the information. I'm letting you know what's going on in this Western culture. They don't respect the dead. This is the reason why they're doing this. They want the land back. And so they get you attached to one thing. They give you the ashes to take home. And you think you're carrying your loved one around. Hold on. Who got daddy? Who got daddy's ashes? Why do you want someone's ashes? You know, nobody ever questions that. How long are you going to pass these ashes down from generation to generation? Why don't you just let it go? Let them go. Now, some people do, they separate themselves from it. They come to realize that I'm going to pour this out to daddy's or mama's favorite place to set them free. They've already been set free. Pouring out the ashes is not setting them free. You're talking about their remains being contained inside of a vase. You have to understand, your thinking process have been formed that way because of attachments, and it brings about pain. But if you understand that once this organism has done what it's supposed to do, after this organism has lived out its purpose, it goes back. The spirit of the individual goes back to everything that bears life and power. So as I said before, if you want to spend time with your loved one, just get up and watch the sunrise. Just stand still and feel the wind blow against you. Sometimes when I'm walking down the street, it was one particular morning, I'm walking down the street out here in Las Vegas and the sun was shining. I looked down at my shadow and saw a reflection of my grandfather walking. It was incredible. It was incredible. So you have to get to know them on a whole nother level. You haven't lost them. You've actually gained them. The attachments is the organism and the materialistic things. So the Egyptians were very wrong. They've returned back to everything that bears life and power.